हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम।
हरे कृष्ण सफल प्रभु।
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु, हरे कृष्णा माता जी।
हाँ, हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, मुरली प्रभु, हरे कृष्ण
दंडोत
प्रभु सपन। सपन
हरे
प्रभु, हरे
कृष्ण प्रभु
कृष्ण
जी. Yes, Prabhuji.
प्रभु।
Chapandi.
या विल यू स्टार्ट प्रभु?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah, we were
हाँ,
waiting for some more people, but
अरे
yeah, we can.
We can start
you
now.
kept the
Prabhuji,
message.
5 people are.
You kept the message in the group. Did you post the message in the group?
Yes,
Okay,
Prabhuji,
Prabhuji.
he posted.
Uh, you posted, na? Yeah,
Yeah.
you can start Prabhu. It's okay. By
Okay,
the time
Prabhuji.
they will join, we'll come to the flow.
Yeah,
Hare Krishna.
I'll start with Mangalachar.
Hare Hare.
ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं. वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च. श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च. हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेशा गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते. तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमः. नमः ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने. नमस्ते सारस्वते देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे. हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे. जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंदा जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंदा. जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंदा जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंदा. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. हरे कृष्ण. लेट मी शेयर द स्क्रीन. Yeah, Deepa Mataji, are you ready?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah,
Hare
please.
Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat.
Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Maitreya resumed, sincerely extolled in these words, Lord Vishnu, shining very beautifully on the shoulders of Garuda, replied with words as sweet as nectar. His eyebrows moved gracefully as he looked at the sage with a smile full of affection. Purport. The word vachasam Vachasamritena is significant. Whenever the Lord speaks, he speaks from the transcendental world. He does not speak from the material world. Since he is transcendental, his speech is also transcendental, as is his activity. Everything in relation to him is transcendental. The word Amrita refers to one who does not meet with death. The words and activities of the Lord are deathless. Therefore, they are not manufactured of this material world. The sound of this material world and that of the spiritual world are completely different. The sound of the spiritual world is nectarian and eternal, whereas the sound of the material world is hackneyed and subject to end. The sound of the holy name, Prabhuji, can you scroll down? The sound of the holy name, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, everlastingly increases the enthusiasm of the chanter. If one repeats monotonous material words, he will feel exhausted. But if he chants Hare Krishna 24 hours a day, he will never feel exhausted. Rather, he will feel encouraged to continue chanting more and more. When the Lord replied to the sage Kardama, the word Vachasamritena is specifically mentioned since he spoke from the transcendental world. He replied in transcendental words, and when he spoke, his eyebrows moved with great affection. When a devotee praises the glories of the Lord is very satisfied, and he bestows his transcendental benediction upon the devotee without reservation, because he is always causelessly merciful towards his devotee. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. Madhavi Mataji. Madhavi Mataji, are you available?
Yes, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Yeah, please read.
Yeah. Translation. The Supreme Lord said, having come to know what was in your mind, I have already arranged for that for which you have worshipped me well through your mental and sensory discipline. Purport. The Supreme Personality of Godhead in his Paramatma feature is situated in everyone's heart. He therefore knows the past, present, and future of every individual person, as well as his desires, activities, and everything about him. It is stated in Bhagavad Gita that he is seated in the heart as a witness. The personality of Godhead knew the heart's desire of Kardama Muni, and he had already arranged for the fulfillment of his desires. He never disappoints a sincere devotee, regardless of what he wants, but he never allows anything which will be detrimental to the individual's devotional service.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you.
Vani Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, stand up, Pranam.
Hare Krishna Mataji, stand up.
Yes. Translation. The Lord continued, my dear Rishi, O leader of the living entities, for those who serve me in devotion by worshipping me, especially persons like you who have given up everything unto me, there is never any question of frustration. Perfect. Even if he has some desires, when engaged in the service of the Lord is never frustrated. Those engaged in his service are called Sakama and Akama. Those who approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead with desires for material enjoyment are called Sakama, and those devotees who have no material desires for sense gratification but serve the Supreme Lord out of spontaneous love for him are called Akama. Sakama devotees are divided into 4 classes: those in distress, those in need of money, the inquisitive, and the wise. Someone worships the Supreme Lord because of bodily or mental distress. Someone else worships the Supreme Lord because he is in need of money. Someone else worships the Lord out of inquisitiveness to know him and as he is, and someone wants to know the Lord as a philosopher can know him by the research work of his wisdom. There is no frustration for any of these 4 classes of men. Each is endowed with the desired result of his worship.
Thank you, Mataji. Raju Prabhu.
Prabhuji, I will be in hearing mode.
Okay, Prabhuji. Giriraj Prabhu, are you available? Okay, can't hear you. Lalit Mohan Prabhu.
Yeah, yes, Prabhu. The Emperor Swayambhuva Manu, the son of Lord Brahma, who is well known for his righteous acts, has his seat in Brahmavarta and rules over the earth with its 7 oceans. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Sometimes it is stated that Brahmavarta is the part of Kurukshetra, or that Kurukshetra itself is situated in Brahmavarta, because the demigods are recommended to perform spiritual, ritualistic performances in Kurukshetra. But in others' opinion, Brahmavarta is a place in Brahmaloka where Swayambhuva ruled. There are many places on the surface of the earth which are also known in the higher planetary systems. We have places on this planet like Vrindavan, Dwaraka, and Mathura, but they are also eternally situated in Krishna Loka. There are many similar names on the surface of the earth, and it may be that In the Boer age, Swayambhuva Manu ruled this planet. As stated here, the word Mangalaha is significant. Mangala means one who is elevated in every respect in the opulences of religious performances. Ruling power, cleanliness, and all other good qualities. Vikhyata means celebrated. Swayambhuva Manu was celebrated for all good qualities and opulences. Thank you, Prabhu.
Let me read. Translation. The day after tomorrow, O Brahmana, that celebrated emperor who is expert in religious activities will come here with his queen, Satrupa, wishing to see you. Translation. He has grown up daughter whose eyes are black. She is ready for marriage and she has good character and all good qualities. She is also searching for a good husband. My dear sir, her parents will come to see you, who are exactly suitable for her, just to deliver their daughter as your wife. Purport. The selection of a good husband for a girl was always entrusted to parents. Here it is clearly stated that Manu and his wife were coming to see Kardama Muni to offer their daughter because the daughter was well qualified and the parents were searching out a similarly qualified man. This is a duty of parents. Girls are never thrown into public street to search out their husband. For when girls are grown up and are searching after a boy, they forget to consider whether the boy they select is actually suitable for them. Out of the urge of sex desire, a girl may accept anyone, but if the husband is chosen by parents, they can consider who is to be selected and who is not. According to the Vedic system, therefore, the girl is given over to a suitable boy by parents. She is never allowed to select her own husband independently. Hare Krishna. So one round is over. Deepa Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji. That princess, O holy sage, will be just the type you have been thinking of in your heart. For all these long years, she will soon be yours and will serve you to your heart's content. Purport. The Lord awards all benedictions. The Lord awards all benedictions according to the heart's desire of a devotee. So the Lord informed Kardama Muni, the girl who is coming to be married with you is a princess, the daughter of Emperor Swayambhuva, and so just suitable for your purpose. Only by God's grace can one get a nice wife just as he desires. Similarly, it is only by God's grace that a girl gets a husband suitable to her heart. Thus, it is said that if we pray to the Supreme Lord in every transaction of our material existence, everything will be done very nicely and just suitable to our heart's desire. In other words, in all circumstances, we must take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and depend completely on his decision. Man proposes, God disposes. The fulfillment of desires, therefore, should be entrusted to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the nicest solution. Kardama Muni desired only a wife, but because he was a devotee of the Lord selected a wife for him who was the emperor's daughter, a princess. Thus, Kardama Muni got a wife beyond his expectation. If we depend on the choice of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we will receive benedictions in greater opulence than we desire. It is also significantly noted here that Kardama Muni was a Brahmana, whereas Emperor Swayambhuva was a Kshatriya. Therefore, intercaste marriage was current even in those days. The system was that a Brahmana could marry the daughter of a Kshatriya, but a Kshatriya could not marry the daughter of a Brahmana. We have evidences from the history of the Vedic age that Shukracharya offered his daughter to Maharaja Yayati, but the king had to refuse to marry the daughter of a Brahmana. Only with the special permission of the Brahmana could they marry. Thus, intercaste marriage was not prohibited in the olden days, many millions of years ago, but there was a regular system of social behavior. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Madhavi Mataji.
Prabhuji, I'll read
Hare
after
Krishna.
15 minutes, Prabhuji.
Okay, Mataji. You let me know when you're ready. You can
Yeah.
You can speak up. Yeah, thank you. Vani Mataji.
Prabhuji. Yeah. Translation: She will bring forth 9 daughters from the seed sown in her by you, and through the daughters you beget, the sages will duly beget children.
Continue.
Translation: With with your heart cleansed by properly carrying out my command, resigning to me the fruits of all your acts, you will finally attain to perfect. Here the words Tithi, Kritasesha, Kriyartha are significant. Tirtha means a sanctified place where charity is given. People used to go to places of pilgrimage and give munificently in charity. This system is still current. Therefore, the Lord said, in order to sanctify your activities and the results of your actions, you will offer everything unto me. This is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you sacrifice, the result should be given to me only. In other place in Bhagavad Gita, the Lord said, I am the enjoyer of all sacrifices, all penances, and everything done for the welfare of mankind or society. All activities, therefore, whether for the welfare of family, society, country, or humanity at large, must be performed in Krishna consciousness. That is the instruction given by the Lord to Kardama Muni. Maharaj Yudhishthira welcomed Narada Muni. Wherever you are present, the place becomes sanctified because the Lord himself is always seated in your heart. Similarly, if we act in Krishna consciousness under the direction of the Lord and his representative, then everything is sanctified. This is the indication given to Kardama Muni, who acted on it and therefore received the most excellent wife and child, as will be disclosed in the later verses.
Yeah. Thank you. Lalit Mohan Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu. Showing compassion to all living entities, you will attain self-realization. Giving assurance of safety to all, you will perceive your own self as well as the universe is in me and myself in you. The simple process of self-realization for every living entity is described here. The first principle to be understood is that this world is a product of supreme will. There is an identity of this world with the Supreme Lord. This identity is accepted in a misconceived way by the impersonalists. They say that the Supreme Absolute Truth, transforming himself into the universe, loses his separate existence. Thus, they accept the world and everything in it to be the Lord. That is the pantheism. Okay. That is the pantheism, wherein everything is considered to be the Lord. This is the view of impersonalist. But those who are personal devotees of the Lord take everything to be the property of the Supreme Lord. Everything, whatever we see, is the manifestation of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, everything should be engaged in the service of the Lord. This is oneness. The difference between the impersonalist and the personalist is that the impersonalist does not accept the separate existence of the Lord, but the personalist accepts the Lord. He understands that although he distributes himself in so many ways, he has his separate personal existence. This is described in Bhagavad Gita. I am spread all over the universe in my personal form. Everything is resting on me, but I am not present. There's a nice example regarding the sun and the sunshine. The sun, by its sunshine, is spread all over the universe, and all the planets rest on the sunshine. But all the planets are different from the sun planet. One cannot say that because the planets are resting on the sunshine, these planets are also the sun. Similarly, the impersonal or pantheistic view that everything is God is not a very intelligent proposal. The real position as explained by the Lord himself is that although nothing can exist without him, it is not a fact that everything is him. He is different from everything. So, here also the Lord says, you will see everything in the world to be non-different from me. This means that everything should be considered a product of Lord's energy, and therefore everything should be employed in the service of the Lord. One's energy should be utilized for one's self-interest. That is the perfection of the energy. Did anyone understand anything? Why this purport is so big?
So everything belongs to the Lord, and everything should be used for His purpose. And the example of the sun and the sunshine is given.
So if you see the purport, no, not purport, the translation, na? I am in you and you are in me. There is a word there, na?
అంటే ఇది
Myself as well as universes in me and myself in you. Okay? So this is the point where the impersonalist will take and they say that the God is not a person. He is in me, he is in you, I am the God, you are the God. They will come into these propositions. That's why Prabhupada will be very clear during these translations. He will give a lengthy purpose to say, no, this verse doesn't mean he is impersonal. This verse means he is personal in this way. That's why he will go such long purpose. Okay? Wherever you see Lord saying, I am in you and you are in me, there Prabhupada will be, he will be in a beast mode actually. He will eat up the impersonalists during these translations. Okay? He will give a lengthy purpose to say, no, Lord is not impersonal, he is personal. This is because he is personal. Why he is personal? The reason he will give in is all these purports. Okay, so these purports will sound very, very, what you say, philosophical, but you should understand that. We should understand that Prabhupada wants to convey us that there is a difference between the impersonalism and personalism. And here one more word has come, pantheism. Pantheism means the concept of everything is God. Everything is God. But Vaishnavas will say everything is a property of God. Everything is in itself is not a God, it's a property of God. Okay? That's where the Vaishnavism and the impersonalism differs. So you can give the other part of the purport to some other devotees. The remaining
Okay,
part to the other devotees. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Akinchan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, yes.
Hare Krishna.
It is also
No, the first line is
this energy can be utilized for real self-interest if one is compassionate. A person in Krishna consciousness, a devotee of the Lord, is always compassionate. He is not satisfied that only he himself is a devotee, but he tries to distribute the knowledge of devotional service to everyone. There are many devotees of the Lord who face many risks in distributing the devotional service to the Lord to people in general. That should be done. Continue, Yala Prabhu. It is also said that a person who goes to the temple of the Lord and worships with a great devotion, but who does not show sympathy to the people in general or show respect to the other devotees, is considered to be third-class devotees. The second-class devotee is he who is merciful and compassionate to the fallen soul. The second-class devotee is always cognizant of his position as an eternal servant of the Lord. He therefore makes friendships with a devotee of the Lord, acts compassionately towards the general public in teaching them devotional service, and refuses to cooperate or associate with the non-devotees. As long as one is not compassionate to people in general in his devotional service to the Lord, he is the third-class devotee. The first-class devotee gives assurance to every living being that there is no fear of the material existence. Let us live in Krishna consciousness and conquer the desires of material existence. It is indicated.
అదే
Okay.
అది ఉండాలి అది రుద్దుతుంటే గేడే ఉంటుంది నాకు ప్యాషన్
Murli Prabhu, can you please go on mute? Yeah, Charan Prabhuji. Kinchan Prabhu.
Yeah. Sorry. It is indicated here that the Kardamuni was directed by the Lord to be very compassionate and liberal in his householder life and give assurance to the people in his renounced life. A sannyasi, one in the renounced order of the life, is meant to give the enlightenment to the people. He should travel going from home to enlighten. The householder, by the spell of the Maya, becomes absorbed in the family affairs and forgets his relationship with Krishna. If he dies in forgetfulness, like cats and dogs, then his life is spoiled. It is duty of the sannyasi, therefore, to go and awaken the forgetful souls with the enlightenment of their eternal relationship with the Lord and to engage them in devotional service. The devotee should show mercy to the fallen souls and also give them the assurance of fearlessness. As soon as one becomes the devotee of the Lord, he is convinced that he is protected by the Lord. Fear itself is afraid of the Lord. Therefore, what has he to do with the fearfulness?
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay, let me read. To award fearfulness to the common man is the greatest act of charity. A sannyasi or one who is in the renounced order of life should wander from door to door, from village to village, from town to town, and from country to country, all over the world as far as he is able to travel, and enlighten the householders about Krishna consciousness. A person who is a householder but is initiated by a sannyasi has the duty to spread Krishna consciousness at home. As far as possible, he should call his friends and neighbors to his house and hold classes in Krishna consciousness. Holding a class means chanting the holy name of Krishna and speaking from Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam. There are immense literatures for spreading Krishna consciousness, and it is the duty of each and every householder to learn about Krishna from his sannyasi spiritual master. There is a division of labor in the Lord's service. The householder's duty is to earn money because a sannyasi is not supposed to earn money, but is completely dependent on the householder. The householder should earn money by business or profession and spend at least 50% of his income to spread Krishna consciousness. 25% he can spend for his family and 25% he should save to meet emergencies. This example was shown by Rupa Goswami, so devotees should follow it. Actually, to be one with the Supreme Lord means to be one with the interest of the Lord. Becoming one with the Supreme Lord does not imply becoming as great as the Supreme Lord. It is impossible. The part is never equal to the whole. The living entity is always a minute part. Therefore, his oneness with the Lord is that he is interested in one of the interests of the Lord. The Lord wants every living entity to always think about him, to be his devotee, and to always worship him. This is clearly stated in Bhagavad Gita. Manmana bhava mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. Krishna wants everyone always to think of him. Everyone should always offer obeisances to Krishna. This is the will of the Supreme Lord, and devotees should try to fulfill his desire. Since the Lord is unlimited, his desire is also unlimited. There is no stoppage, and therefore the service of the devotee is also unlimited. In the transcendental world, there is unlimited competition between Lord and the servitor. The Lord wants to fulfill his desires unlimitedly, and the devotee also serves him to fulfill his unlimited desires. There is an unlimited oneness of interest between Lord and his devotee. Hare Krishna. Okay, third round, Deepa Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji. O great sage, I shall manifest my own plenary portion through your wife, Devahuti, along with your 9 daughters, and I shall instruct her in the system of philosophy that deals with the ultimate principles or categories. Purport. Herein the word Swamsha Kalaya indicates that the Lord would appear as the son of Devahuti and Kardama Muni as Kapil Dev, the first propounder of the Sankhya philosophy, which is mentioned here as Tattva Samhita. The Lord foretold to Kardama Muni that he would appear in his incarnation, Kapil Dev, and would propagate the philosophy of Sankhya. Sankhya philosophy is very well known in the world as propagated by another Kapil Dev, but that Sankhya philosophy is different from the Sankhya which was propounded by the Lord himself. There are 2 kinds of Sankhya philosophy. One is godless Sankhya philosophy, and the other is godly Sankhya philosophy. The Sankhya propagated by Kapil Dev, son of Devahuti, is godly philosophy. There are different manifestations of the Lord. He is one, but he has become many. Okay. He divides himself into two different expansions, one called Kala and the other Vibhinnamsha. Ordinary living entities are called Vibhinnamsha expansions, and the unlimited expansion of Vishnu Tattva, such as Vamana, Govinda, Narayana, Pradyumna, Vasudeva, and Ananta, are called Swamsha Kala. Swamsha refers to a direct expansion, and Kala denotes an expansion from the expansion of the original Lord. Baldeva is an expansion of Krishna, and from Baldeva, the next expansion is Sankarshana. Thus, Sankarshana is Kala, but Baldeva is Swamsha. There is no difference, however, among them. This is very nicely explained in the Brahma Samhita 5.47. Deeparchireva hi dashantaramabhyupetya. With one candle, one may light a second candle, with the second a third, and then a fourth. And in this way, one can light up thousands of candles, and no candle is inferior to another in distributing light. Every candle has the full candle power, but there is still the distinction that one candle is the first, another the second, another the third, and another the fourth. Similarly, there is no difference between the immediate expansion of the Lord and his secondary expansion. The Lord's names are considered in exactly the same way. Since the Lord is absolute, his name, his form, his pastimes, his paraphernalia, and his qualities all have the same potency. In the absolute world, the name Krishna is the transcendental sound, representation of the Lord. There is no difference in potency between his qualities, name, form, etc. If we chant the name of the Lord, Hare Krishna, that has as much potency as the Lord himself. There is no difference in potency between the form of the Lord whom we worship and the form of the Lord in the temple. One should not think that one is worshipping a doll or statue of the Lord, even if others consider it to be a statue, because there is no difference in potency. One gets the same result by worshipping the statue of the Lord or the Lord himself. This is the science of Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Vani Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji. Translation. Maitreya went on, thus having spoken to Kadma Muni, the Lord who reveals himself only when the senses are in Krishna consciousness, departed from that lake called Bindu Sarovara, which was encircled by the river Saraswati. Purport. One word in this verse is very significant. The Lord is stated here to be Pratyaga Akshaja. He is imperceptible to material senses, but still he can be seen. This appears to be contradictory. We have material senses, but how can we see the Supreme Lord? He is called Adhokshaja, which means that he cannot be seen by the material senses. Akshaja means knowledge perceived by material senses. Because the Lord is not an object that can be understood by speculation with our material senses, he is also called Ajita. He will conquer, but no one can conquer him. What does it mean? Then that still he has been seen. It is explained that no one can hear the transcendental name of Krishna, no one can understand his transcendental form, and no one can assimilate his transcendental pastimes. It is not possible. Then how is it possible that he can be seen and understood? Prabhuji, koncham scroll cheyra. Yeah. When one is trained in devotional service and renders service unto him gradually, one's senses are purified of material contamination. When one's senses are thus purified, then one can see, one can understand, one can hear, and so on. The purification of the material senses and perception of the transcendental form, name, and quality of Krishna are combined together in one word, Pratyaga Akshaja, which is used here.
Thank you. I think Matajis are done. Lalit Mohan Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. While the sage stood looking on, the Lord left by the pathway leading to Vaikuntha, a path extolled by all great liberated souls. The sage stood listening as the hymns forming the basis of the Samaveda were vibrated by the flapping wings of Lord's carrier Garuda. Jai. Purport by in the Vedic literature, it is stated that the two wings of the transcendental bird Garuda, who carries the Lord everywhere, are two divisions of Samaveda, known as Brihat and Rathantra. Garuda works as the carrier of the Lord. Therefore, he is considered the transcendental prince of all carriers. With his two wings, Garuda began to vibrate the Samaveda, which is chanted by the great sages to pacify the Lord. The Lord is worshipped by Brahma, by Lord Shiva, by Garuda, and other demigods with selected poems. The great sages worship him with the hymns of Vedic literature, such as the Upanishads and Samaveda. These Samaveda utterances are automatically heard by the devotees when another great devotee of Lord Garuda flaps his wings. Okay, we cannot listen, huh? Only devotees can listen that. It is clearly stated here that the sage Kardama began to look to the path by which the Lord was being carried to Vaikuntha. It is thus confirmed that the Lord descends from his abode, Vaikuntha, in the spiritual sky and is carried by Garuda. The path which leads to Vaikuntha is not worshipped by the ordinary class of transcendentalists. Only those who are already liberated from the material bondage can become devotees of the Lord. Those who are not liberated from the material bondage cannot understand transcendental devotion service. In Bhagavad Gita, it is clearly stated, Yatatam api siddhanam. There are many persons who are trying to attain perfection by striving for liberation from the material bondage. And those who are actually liberated are called Brahma Bhuta or Siddha. Can you just scroll up, Prabhu? Only the Siddhas or persons liberated from the material bondage can become devotees. This is also confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita. Anyone who is engaged in Krishna consciousness or devotional service is already liberated from the influence of the modes of material nature. Here, it is also confirmed that the path of devotional service is worshipped by liberated persons, not the conditioned souls. The conditioned soul cannot understand the devotional service of the Lord. Kardama Muni was liberated soul who saw the Supreme Lord in person, face to face. There was no doubt that he was liberated, and thus he could see Garuda carrying the Lord on the way to Vaikuntha and hear the flapping of his wings vibrating, the sound of Hare Krishna, the essence of Samaveda. Hari. Thank you so much,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Akinchan, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. One second. Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, then after the departure of the Lord, the worshipful sage Kardama stayed on the banks of Bindu Sarovara, awaiting the time of which the Lord has spoken.
Yeah, continue, Prabhuji.
Yeah, Swayambhu Manu with his translation. Swayambhu Manu with his wife mounted his chariot, which was decorated with the golden ornaments. Placing his daughter on it with them, he began traveling all over the earth. Purport: the Emperor Manu, as the great ruler of the world, could have engaged an agent to find a suitable husband for his daughter. But because he loved her just as the father should, he himself left his state on the golden chariot with only his wife to find a suitable husband.
Continue, Prabhuji.
O Vidura, they reached the hermitage of the sage, who had just completed his vows of austerity on the very day foretold by the Lord.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Let me read. Translation. The holy lake Bindu Sarovara, flooded by the waters of the river Saraswati.
Prabhuji, Sapan Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji.
From here, I don't know, from 10 or 7 slokas, they describe about Bindu Sarovara. Please remember this, Prabhu. This Bindu Sarovara is nothing but the teardrops of the Lord. And why it formed? Because seeing the austerities and the devotion of Kardama Muni. Okay? Lord will leave his tears he will be teary-eyed when he sees his devotees, when he sees his devotee doing praising him or doing austerities for him. So Bindu Sarovara has some special significance. Okay, from here the descriptions of Bindu Sarovara will come. Just concentrate more
ఇది
because
ఎక్కడ
many
ఉంది
times in the future, Prabhu,
ఇది ఎక్కడుంది ప్రభుజీ? బిందు సరోవర్ ఎక్కడ? పూరిల్లో ఎక్కడ ఉన్నట్టు అనిపించింది.
అది వేరే బిందు సరోవర ప్రభు.
అది వేరేనా? ఓకే.
ప్రభుజీ మన
అంటే
ఇది
అది
అయోధ్యది కూడా చెప్పారు. యాక్చువల్ గా ద సరయూ ఇస్ ఫ్లోయింగ్ ఫ్రమ్ బిందు సరోవర్. బిందు సరోవర్ వాజ్ వేర్ లార్డ్ హ్యాడ్ డ్రాప్డ్ హిస్ టీయర్స్. అదేనా ప్రభుజీ? మన
ఎస్ ఆ బిందు సరోవరే
బద్రికాశ్రమ్
ఈ బిందు
దగ్గర.
సరోవర మాతయ్య. ఎస్, హిమాలయస్ లో ఉంటది ఈ బిందు సరోవర. దట్ ఈస్ వేర్ సీయింగ్ కర్దముని.
No, finish, Prabhuji.
Yeah. It is said that seeing Kardamuni's austerities and seeing Kardamuni's devotion to the Lord will cry. Okay. ఆ ఒక్క డిస్క్రిప్షన్ ఒకసారి వస్తుంది మాతాజీ ప్రభుజీ.
సో ఇక్కడే ఉంది పర్పట్ లో ఫస్ట్ లైన్
ఉందా?
ఫస్ట్ లైన్ ఆఫ్ ద పర్పట్.
ఓ కంపాషనేట్ ఇన్ ద ప్లెజర్. ఎస్ ప్రభుజీ. సో ఈ బిందు సరోవర్ బికాస్ ఇట్ ఇస్ లార్డ్స్ టియర్ టువర్డ్స్ హిస్ డివోటీస్, దాని యొక్క డిస్క్రిప్షన్స్ ఉంటుంది ప్రభు. చుట్టుపక్కల వైకుంఠంలోనే ఉంటుంది అనమాట ఇది కూడా. యూ కెన్ గో హెడ్ ప్రభు.
Yeah, Prabhuji. So I think recently we were seeing this TV9 or some other channel. That reporter actually went to this, I think it was Bindu Sarovara, Himalayas, Prabhuji. He tried to locate that lake. And there's a documentary also on that. So one of the Telugu channels, I don't remember which one, but it was in the Himalayas. Manchu Kondal Majilo, oka chinna lake undi. So it could be the Bindu Sarovara only. Yeah.
హరే కృష్ణ ప్రభు, బిందు సరోవర్ ఉన్న సరయూ నది రెండు ఒకటేనా ప్రభుజీ?
లేదు ప్రభుజీ, బిందు సరోవర్ నుంచి ఒరిజినేట్ అవుతుంది సరే.
ఓకే హరే కృష్ణ.
అక్కడి నుంచి అంటే మేము అయోధ్యకి వెళ్ళినప్పుడు that was the story which was given.
Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji, continue, please.
Translation. The holy lake Bindu Sarovara, flooded by waters of the river Saraswati, was resorted to by the hosts of eminent sages. Its holy water was not only auspicious, but as sweet as nectar. It was called Bindu Sarovara because drops of tear had fallen there from the eyes of the Lord, who was overwhelmed by the extreme compassion for the sage who had sought his protection. Purport. Kardama underwent austerities to gain the causeless mercy of the Lord. And when the Lord arrived there, he was so compassionate that in pleasure he shed tears, which became Bindu Sarovara. Bindu Sarovara is therefore worshipped by great sages and learned scholars because, according to the philosophy of the absolute truth, the Lord and the tears from his eyes are non-different. Just as drops of perspiration which fell from the toe of the Lord became the sacred Ganges, so teardrops from the transcendental eyes of the Lord became Bindu Sarovara. Both the transcendental entities are worshipped by the great sages and scholars. The water of Bindu Sarovara is described here as Sivamrita Jala. Siva means curing. Anyone who drinks the water of Bindu Sarovara is cured of all material diseases. Similarly, anyone who takes his bath in the Ganges also is relieved of material diseases. These claims are accepted by great scholars and authorities and are still being acted upon even in this fallen age of Kali. So I think everyone has covered. So Prabhuji, Mataji, do we want to do fourth round, or we don't have any shlokas from Giriraj Prabhu for today?
Yeah, we can continue, Prabhuji. Lalpan Prabhu, meeremantaru?
No, today we will continue, Prabhu. Why? Because let us show a token of respect towards the Prabhuji, that we will start those shlokas after he coming, okay, back from Tirupati or whatever it is. It will not be good that we start the shlokas before he coming. That's what I feel, Prabhu. You can share your opinions.
Prabhu didn't share the shlokas also, so
how many days left for Prabhuji to come?
I think Friday morning he'll take the call again.
Avuna? Should we do the anchor shlokas? For today's
Yeah,
revision,
so
చేద్దాం anchor shlokas.
Mataji,
So
Rudragita
I think
అయిపోయిందా అందరిది?
అయిపోయింది.
Okay.
I think today we can do one more call and conclude. I'll check with Giriraj Prabhu on what we need to do with the shlokas from tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
So yeah, Diva Mataji, yeah, it's your turn.
ఇదేనా?
Yes.
The shore of the lake was surrounded by clusters of pious trees and creepers, rich in fruits and flowers of all seasons, that affordable shelter to pious animals and birds, which uttered various cries. It was adorned by the beauty of groves of forest trees. Purport. It is stated here that Bindu Sarovar was surrounded by pious trees and birds, as there are different classes of men in human society, some pious and virtuous and some impious and sinful. So also among trees and birds, there are the pious and the impious. Trees which do not bear nice fruits or flowers are considered impious, and birds which are very nasty, such as crows, are considered impious. In the land surrounding Bindu Sarovar, there was not a single impious bird or tree. Every tree bore fruits and flowers, and every bird sang the glories of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Madhavi
so
Mataji.
when Prabhupada, when he went to US, he was seeing a very big trees, right? So he called and asked his devotees, "What is this tree? Which tree is this? Which fruit it will bear and all?" So they were saying, "It's a shade tree. It doesn't have any fruits. It is very impious." Prabhupada, very. So that is a Shastra Chakshu, we call it, na? Seeing everything through the eyes of Bhagavatam or through eyes of scriptures. Any tree which doesn't give any fruit, na, it is considered impious actually. But if you see, because here the Kadiyam or Kadiyuk Lanka, which is 30 kilometers far from here. Okay. Nowadays, there are 80% of this trees which doesn't bear fruit only, but they are only of shape. That's how people are becoming right now. Okay. Even the house gardening also, there is no fruits, there is no flower. Bonsai, na? Bonsai. They're telling that one tree costs some 3 or 4 lakhs. And
Yes,
I
Prabhuji.
don't know, but it's
Kadiyam lo.
yeah, Kadiyam. It's very near from here.
Yeah.
Whenever we go there, we go through Rajahmundry and all. We go through Kadiyam only. Why I'm telling is people are going towards that, all impious things only, because the means which they earn money, if that is impious, they go through all these impious things only. Even in the trees, to the extent of trees, they go there only. Yeah, everything is related actually. Yeah? Everything is related. Don't think that we earn money by other means and then we can do bhakti. It cannot also be done like that. So that's why it is said in bhakti, the intentions should be very pure. Okay, and the clarity of thought should be always there. And to some extent, the means to achieve the goal should also be pure. To the maximum extent, as we are devotees. Okay. Hare Krishna. You can go ahead, Prabhuji. Mataji, you can go ahead. Thank you.
Yeah, Madhavi Mataji.
Yeah, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Translation. The area resounded with the notes of overjoyed birds. Intoxicated bees wandered there. Intoxicated peacocks proudly danced, and merry cuckoos called one another. Purport. The beauty of the pleasant sounds heard in the area surrounding Lake Bindu Sarovara is described here. After drinking honey, the black bees became maddened, and they hummed in intoxication. Merry peacocks danced just like actors and actresses, and merry cuckoos called their mates very nicely.
Continue.
Thank you, Vijay. Hare Krishna.
No, continue, Mataji.
Okay. Translation. Lake Bindu Sarovara was adorned by flowering trees such as Kadamba, Champaka, Ashoka, Karanja, Bakula, Asana, Kunda, Mandara, Kutaja, and young mango trees. The air was filled with the pleasing notes of Karandava ducks, plovers, swans, ospreys, waterfowl, cranes, chakravakas, and chakoras. Purport. For most of the trees, flowers, fruits, and birds mentioned here as surrounding Bindu Sarovara Lake, English synonyms can't be found. All the trees mentioned are very pious in that they produce a nice aromatic flower, such as the Champaka, Kadamba, and Bakula. The sweet sounds of waterfall and cranes made the surrounding area as pleasant as possible and created a very suitable spiritual atmosphere.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Professor Harish.
Vani Mataji.
Prabhuji. Translation. Its shores abound with deer, boars, porcupines, gavayas, elephants, baboons, lions, monkeys, mongooses, and musk deer. Purport. Musk deer are not found in every forest, but only in places like Bindu Sarovara. They are always intoxicated by the aroma of musk secreted from their navels. Gavayas, the species of cow mentioned herein, bear a hunch of hair at the end of the tails. This bunch of hair is used in temple worship to fan the deities. Gavayas are sometimes called chamaris, and they are considered very sacred. In India, there are still gypsies or forest mercantile people who flourish by trading kasturi or musk and the bunches of hair from the chamaris. These are always in great demand for the higher classes of Hindu population, and such businesses still go on in large cities and villages in India.
Thank you, Mataji. I think Mataji said time. Lalit Mohan Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu. So here the forests are described earlier in the previous shlokas. In the previous shlokas, the forests are described. It is said that whenever there is a sage or ashrama, there will be a pattern in the forest. And whenever there is an asura inside the forest, it will be called as a karadi. Means there is no pattern. Everything will be haphazard. Okay? Because every living entity over there is fearful. So whenever you see any pattern in the forest, it is said that it is a saintly place. And there is some sages live there. And whenever there is no pattern, it is completely Gandhargolam antaru. If it is like that, then what it is said? There is some demonic people living there. Okay? And even if you see, I was there in Delhi, Katwaria Sarai base. Okay? Katwaria Sarai, base. There, it is also called as IIT base actually, because IIT Delhi was just nearby to the Katwaria Sarai. So there is a devotee who is doing research in microbiology in IIT Delhi. So here's our basement. So we were discussing about some forests at the time. So he was telling, Prabhu, I am actually biomedical. I am a biomedic guy. There is a pattern in every forest in the world. He says that depending upon the nature of the people, the forest around them also changes. Okay? Am I audible to everyone?
Yes, Prabhuji.
So he was telling that he has gone to Brazil to do some research in the Amazon forests. Okay? So he was telling that the native tribes over there, okay, they are very violent towards one another. The Incas, the Aztecs, and all these people, they are very violent to one another. So what happened was, even the small spider insect of that forest is toxic. What to speak about other snakes and all. Okay? Even the spider has become toxic. Why? Because the human being over there, being so toxic to one another, has changed in the nature also there. Okay?
Prabhuji, is
And
it because of the nature that the human being is toxic there? Is that
No,
possible?
no.
It's
It's
because of the
also
human
because of the nature of the. See, it is said that according to them, these biomedic people, the most disruptive creature in this world is human. Okay. Rest many other they follow the nature. And only people and only creature which doesn't follow the nature properly is the humans. So it always depends upon the human, how the nature behaves. Okay? And as the time passes for generations and generations and generations, and if your karma is bad, you will burn in that land. You will be born in that land. Understood, na Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji.
ఇప్పుడు in our own place we will say that the water of Krishna or the water of Vijayawada and Guntur is different from water of the Godavari districts, and the water of Manjira is different from water of our district. That Nagavalli and the Hamsadevi or something, the water from of Vizag and Vijayanagaram, that is different from our place. Our place water is different from Krishna and Guntur. And beyond that, there is a Gandlakamma river. Okay, that influences in a very different way. So Prakasam, Mongolu, they will be different, completely different. Why? The nature is different. In the same way, he's explaining us, the water will be changing because of the disruptive behavior of the human there. Okay, so the most important creature in the world, as per those people in IIT Delhi or those researchers, is the human only. He is the most disruptor of the nature. So nature starts behaving in a different way depending upon the human there as time passes. So that's how, if you see the Bindu Sarovara, if you see the descriptions in Ramayana about the Kishkinda, okay, over there, if you see the Shabari Ashram, the descriptions are very good, right? Why?
Chandramali Prabhuji,
Because
please be on mute.
because there is a sage there, there is a ashrama there, Matanga Rishi. Because of that Rishi, that nature has changed, reciprocated to him. So in the same way, whenever we see the descriptions of Sarovaras or the devotees, you see the ashramas that will be as good as Vaikunthas. If you see the third canto, 15th chapter, Mandara Kunda Kurabo Palachampa Karna, the Vaikuntha description. And here you see the flowers there, Mandara, Kutaga. All these are all again the Vaikuntha flowers only, na? So the patterns of the nature, changes according to the persons there. This is what that what is his name? Pandey, some Pandey. I forget his initiated name. Anubhav Pandey. That Anubhav Pandey, he used to tell us, Prabhuji, this is how because of the nature, because of the human behavior, the nature changes. And he was telling about the squirrels of the US. Okay, the squirrels of the US behave completely differently than the squirrels of India. He was giving many such examples. He was giving one more example. Why everything was poisonous there, and here it is not. He was giving an example of cobra, king cobra of India and black mamba of Africa. Why they behave completely differently? See, the king cobra of India, they are found in the forests of what? Western Ghats, right? The people over there worship king cobra like a cow. So they won't disrupt the normal people there. Until you completely go and finger it, they won't disturb you. But black mamba is not like that. They come and they will kill you and then they go back. They disrupt the normal behavior there. Why? Because it was said that it was somewhere in the Western Africa where people are again completely disruptive. So it was why I'm telling all these things is, whenever you find a sage, the nature changes over there. the nature also become like a Vaikuntha planet. That's why the Bindu Sarovara has become like that. Why? Because Kardama Muni and sages were living there. Sorry, and thank you for patiently hearing. It's already 9:06. Yes, Mataji, you can go ahead. Or
Yeah, Prabhuji,
whose turn
it was your turn, Prabhuji.
yeah, let others read, Prabhu, because I have taken a lot of time in telling this.
Yeah, if you want, you can read, but it's up to you, Prabhuji.
It's okay. Let others read, Prabhu. Else, anyone won't, they won't get the time.
Okay, Prabhuji, yeah. So it's Prabhuji's turn now. Akinchan Prabhu.
Correct.
Hare Krishna.
Entering the most sacred spot with his daughter and going near the sage, the first monarch, Swayambhu Manu, saw the sage sitting in the hermitage, having just propitiated the sacred fire by pouring oblations into it. His body shone most brilliantly, though he had engaged in austere penance for the long time. He was not emaciated for the Lord and had cast his affectionate sidelong glance upon him, and he had also heard the nectar flowing from the moonlike words of the Lord. The sage was tall, his eyes were large, like the petals of the lotus, and he had matted locks on his head. He was clad in rags. Swayambhu Manu approached and saw him to him to be somewhat soiled like an unpolished gem. Purport. Here are some descriptions of Brahmachari yogi. In the morning, the first duty of Brahmachari, seeking spiritual elevation, is Hutasana. The offer sacrificial oblations to the Supreme Lord. Those engaged in brahmacharya cannot sleep until 7 or 9 o'clock in the morning. They must rise early in the morning, at least 1.5 hours before the sun rises, and offer oblations or in this age they must chant the holy names of the Lord. Hare Krishna. As referred by the Lord Chaitanya, Kalau nasteva gatir anata. There is no other alternative, no other alternative in the says to chanting of the holy names of the Lord. The brahmachari must rise early in the morning and after placing himself should chant the holy names of the Lord. From the very features of the sage, it's appeared that he had undergone great austerities. That is the sign of one observing brahmacharya, the vow of celibacy. If one lives otherwise, it will be manifest in the lust visible in space and the body. The word Vidyotatmanam indicates that the brahmachari feature showed in this body. That is the certificate that one has to undergo great austerity in yoga. A drunkard or a smoker, a sex monger can never be eligible to practice yoga. Generally, yogis look very shiny because of their not being comfortably situated. But Kardama was not emaciated, for he had seen the Supreme Personality of Godhead face to face. Here the word Snigdapanga, Snigdapangava Lokanath means that he is fortunate enough to see the Supreme Lord. Sorry, Prabhu, fortunate enough to see the Supreme Lord face to face. He looked healthy because he had directly received the nectarian sound vibrations from the lotus lips of the personality of Godhead. Similarly, one who hears the transcendental sound vibrations of the holy name of the Lord, Hare Krishna, also improves in health. We have actually seen that many brahmacharyas and grastas connected with the International Society of Krishna Consciousness has improved in health and luster has come into their faces. It is essential that brahmachari engaged in spiritual advancement look very healthy and lustrous. The comparison of the sage to be unpolished gem is very appropriate. Even if a gem just taken from a mine looks unpolished, the luster of the gem cannot be stopped. Similarly, although Kardama was not properly dressed and his body was not properly cleansed, clean, cleansed, his overall appearance was gem-like. Correct.
Chandramouli Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. 1 minute.
Hare Krishna.
Translation purport Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Seeing that monarch had come to his hermitage and was bowing before him, the sage greeted him with benediction and received him with the due honor. Purport. Emperor Swayambhuva Manu not only approached the cottage of dried leaves posted by the hermit Kardama, but also offered respectful obeisances unto him. Similarly, it was the duty of hermit to offer blessings to kings who used to visit the hermitage in the jungle.
Continue.
After receiving the sage's attention, the king sat down and was silent. Recalling the instructions of the Lord, Kardama then spoke to the king as follows, delighting him with his sweet essence.
Continue.
The tour you have undertaken, our Lord, is surely intended to protect the virtuous and kill the demons, since you embody the protecting energy of Sri Hari. Purport. It appears from many Vedic literatures, especially histories like Srimad Bhagavatam and the other Puranas, that the pious kings of old used to tour their kingdoms in order to give protection to the pious citizens and the chastise or kill the impious. Sometimes they used to kill animals in the forest to practice the killing art, because without such practice they would not be able to kill the undesirable elements. Kshatriyas are allowed to commit violence in that way because violence for a good purpose is a part of their duty. Here two terms are clearly mentioned. Padaya, for the purpose of killing, and Asatam, those who are undesirable. The protecting energy of the king is supposed to be the energy of the Supreme Lord. In the Bhagavad Gita 4.8, the Lord says, Paritranaya sadhunam vinasaya cha duskritam. The Lord descends to give protection to the pious and to kill the demons. Therefore, the potency to give protection to the pious and kill the demons or undesirables is directly an energy from the Supreme Lord. And the king or the chief executive of the state is supposed to possess such energy. In this age, it is very difficult to find such a head of state who is expert in killing the undesirables. Modern heads of state sit very nicely in their palaces and try without reason to kill innocent persons.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, let me read. Translation. When necessary, you assume the part of the sun god, the moon god, Agni, the god of fire, Indra, the god of paradise, Vayu, the wind god, Yama, the god of punishment, Dharma, the god of piety, and Varuna, the god presiding over the waters. All obeisances unto you. You are none other than Lord Vishnu. Purport. Since the sage Kardama was a Brahmana and Swayambhuva was a Kshatriya, the sage was not supposed to offer obeisances to the king, because socially his position was greater than the king's. But he offered his obeisances to Swayambhuva Manu because, as Manu, king and emperor, he was a representative of the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord is always worshipable regardless of whether one is Brahmana, a Kshatriya, or a Shudra. As the representatives of the Supreme Lord, The king deserved respectful obeisances from everyone. Hare Krishna. Yeah, Prabhuji, I think we can conclude here. Lalitmohan Prabhu? Deepa Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji, we can conclude.
Yeah, we can conclude, right? Okay. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namaha Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Transcendental Book Reading ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranam.
Hare
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji and Mataji. Hare Krishna.